Now on Carlton, we join James Allen and the team for Pulling Power with two unconnected reports on a motorised skip and the latest from Skoda.
Hello and welcome to Pulling Power. Is it a Bugatti, I hear you asking? Is it a Bentley? Well, it's neither. It's a kit car, and it's made up of bits of Triumph Dolomite, Ford Cortina and Rover. Now, if you fancy cooking up a flash set of wheels like this for less than £8,000, I'll give you the recipe later in the show. Meanwhile, here's what the rest of the team have been up to. Katie Haswell hitches up her hemline and finds out how the stars avoid those front-page faux pas. Mike Rutherford takes to the hills in a bouncing check and lifts the lid on the latest cars from Skoda. And is this the ultimate city car? Magician Fay Presto reveals her passion for fast yellow metal.
Now this is a classic. But a classic what? It was built in '64, has a 1221cc, 47 horsepower engine, and can trace its family history back to the last century. It's the original Octavia from Skoda. Fast forward about 4 decades and you got this, the 1998 version of the Octavia. Budget price, BMW looks, but what's it like to live with? Well, actually, it's very civilised, as you'll discover this summer when the new look Octavia hits UK showrooms. It was first produced in the Czech Republic 2 years ago, and we might have got it in Britain earlier if it hadn't been quite so popular with buyers overseas. Well, you know, for a cheap and cheerful car, I think it certainly looks the part. The front end, I think, lets it down slightly. Almost a BMW-like grille there, but the designer's got it somewhere slightly wrong. This chassis is actually the Volkswagen Golf Audi A3 platform, so no problems there. Very Nissan Primera, I think, at the rear end here. The badging, I think, is great. A lot of car manufacturers could learn an awful lot about that typeface. Gives it that wonderfully classy look. Not so sure about the Skoda badge, but look at this. Talk about big old boot. And there's no shortage of space inside either. Despite its Golf underpinnings, this cheap Czech is a large 5-door hatchback. Well, if you're a family motorist and your #1 priority is a car that looks the part, that's safe, that transports the kids efficiently, bit of room inside, well, you just cannot go wrong. Forget about 0 to 60 times, forget about top speeds, forget about understeer, oversteer, handling, ride and all that nonsense. This car will do everything you ask of it and more. But what about Skoda's less than sexy image? Well, you've got to remember that in the 50s, they were producing beautiful Grand Prix cars like this. 40-odd years later, they're still getting their exterior designs right. But inside, the new Octavia is cheap in more ways than one. Close up, there's a definite bargain basement feel. You know, when you're buying a new car, it's not the price you should look at, it's not the badge you should look at, it's the package. And the package for this car, well, let me run it by you. 3-year unlimited mileage warranty, you've got free servicing for 45,000 miles or 3 years. You know, I can't think of a single reason not to buy one. So much for the serious stuff from Prague. Allow me to introduce to you the Skoda Felicia Fun, which comes in any colour you like, so long as it's yellow. 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 There's custard yellow, mustard yellow, mellow yellow. and a sort of, well, yellow. Well, you can't miss it, can you? Wow, what a colour scheme. I've got to tell you, it's quite comfortable in there for 2 adults. And if you want to carry a Forest in the back here, you can do that. Problem comes when you need to transport 2 rear seat passengers. Where do you get those seats from? Now this is the clever bit. Providing you've got arms like a Czechoslovakian hammer thrower, this is what you do. Who's it aimed at? Well, surfers, mountain bikers, urban rednecks and builders with attitude. Now, despite its almost comical appearance, it's a proper open pickup, able to swallow a half-ton load. Well, you know, in America, where pickup trucks actually outsell conventional motor cars, they have double cabs, and that means the rear seat passengers are enclosed just like those in the front. On the Felicia Fun, anybody unlucky enough to be stuck in the back is actually sitting in the pickup part of the vehicle. Not that I'm complaining, because it's actually, in this weather, well, fun. Surreal, but fun. And at a pound short of 10 grand for a version exactly the same as the one you see here, it's clear Skoda haven't abandoned their famous value for money philosophy. You know, much as I enjoy these old Skoda jokes, this book is about as redundant as those cars from the 70s that it relates to. And that's because Skoda are about to enter the Premier League. You know, the biggest joke of all, that's that millions of drivers in the late 1990s still wouldn't touch a Skoda because of that tiny little badge on the bonnet. Believe me, they don't know what they're missing.
All right. Don't you find that some drivers just have such terrible manners? Mind you, I suppose with all the cars on the road these days, it's not surprising that some people have road rage. Anyway, I know of one group of drivers who have, thank you very much, impeccable manners.
They are the men and women of the British Chauffeurs Guild, who are here to show us that good old-fashioned etiquette hasn't quite been condemned to the history books.
Chauffeurs are trained to look after the lady. I know there's equality and all that, but the chauffeur will always open the door first for the lady. If you're going to get a lady out of a car, there should be no hand-to-hand contact. This is a very personal thing. You clench your fist and you offer this part here, the forearm, elbow to the wrist. Just offer it, so that it acts as a form of hand rest, and then you can just gently raise them out. There's a certain position to stand. You do not stand, as most chauffeurs do, behind the door, because then the passenger is facing you, and with respect, if they're wearing a short skirt, of course, it's very difficult getting in with both knees together and swinging them into the car. So, of course, you get one knee going east, one knee going west, and that's very embarrassing. So the correct procedure is to stand by the rear wheel so that the door opens away from you, and the lady gets in with her back to you. And that way you do not see up her dress.
But without a chauffeur to screen you, it could be open season for the tabloids. So, here are Pulling Power's tips on how to avoid being the subject of an embarrassing snapshot.
The problem that most people make is not preparing themselves, taking a great big step as they get out of the car, leaning right forward, really leaving the view of any underwear they might be wearing to anyone's eyes. And also carrying a great big bag so they get out of the car like Quasimodo. It really isn't rocket science. There are just 1 or 2 very simple rules, and remembering them makes it very easy.
OK, so definitely knees together. Ooh, not as easy as it looks. Oh, hardly an elegant exit.
So how do I do it, Kate?
Well, the easiest way, because you are wearing quite a short skirt, is to actually put one foot onto the ground, swivel yourself around, using the car as support if you need to, and then simply step out of the car. But make sure you keep your head up, because that minimalises the potential cleavage shot if there were photographers there.
And it gives you a perfect photo opportunity. Well, that wasn't too bad, was it, Kate?
No, it was very good, but when you've got a hire vehicle, there's a whole load of new problems that you're going to face if you don't start showing too much leg.
Don't worry, I've thought of that.
This is my revenge on the road rager.
Come on, out you get. There is a much easier way, you know. Just try and imagine you're wearing a pair of trousers, OK? It's not a kilt, it's a pair of trousers. Support yourself on the car just like you would normally get in, and just make sure that as you hop in, you give yourself enough time to let your kilt get behind you and then bring in the other leg. OK? Have a go. Saw this fella. This one's definitely the trickiest of the lot because getting into a low-slung vehicle does take a little bit of skill. Just make sure that one leg is right down into the well and then just lower yourself onto the seat and wait until you're absolutely seated before you bring in your free leg. And you're ready to go.
Not too bad, but things soon got a little tricky.
We're getting in, skip now.
No, it's a lot easier than that. What you've got to do is use your leg muscles and really push up and take all your weight on your right leg before you try and get out, and keep your hands fairly close to your side so this doesn't flap everywhere.
Even Sean Connery doesn't always get it right. Recently, he almost treated us all to a full frontal unveiling of Scottish tradition.
1 foot out. Don't turn your foot out too far. That's it. And push yourself up on the steering wheel. Keep your hand up. That's fine.
If, after all that advice, you still can't get it right, well, there's only one solution. Wear trousers.
This is a 1964 Ferrari GTO. Or is it? The real thing is worth £5 million, but you can have this for 30 grand. Why? Because it's a kit car. Now, Ferraris aren't the only cars that get copied. Believe me, in the world of the kit car, nothing is ever what it seems. OK, you can't afford the real thing, but maybe you could run to a look-alike. And because it's hard to tell the difference, just think of the kudos you'd get with this thing sitting in your drive. Is it a Bugatti, a Bentley, or something from Al Capone's used car lot? No, it's a kit made by Beaufort.
This car cost me £7,000 to build. It took me 3 months to build. It's made of Cortina running gear, all refurbished, a Rover 3.5 V8 engine, Dolomite spring clocks, Datsun Bluebird seats, mini doors, mini windscreen, and various other parts.
That's what I would call all fur coat and no knickers, though, really.
That's exactly right. I agree with you.
But you don't care.
I don't care. It goes lovely.
And for the money, you can't blame them.
No, you get your money back what you're paying more, and you've got yourself a lookalike £40,000-50,000 car for £7,000. It's 7 years old. It owes me nothing, and it goes like the day when I built it.
You'd be wrong to think kit car owners an eccentric minority. Around 5,000 cars and drivers turned out for the recent national show at Stoneleigh in Warwickshire. Is this an MG? No, it's the Leicester-made Gentry sports body, designed to use Ford Escort or Triumph Herald engines and gearboxes. This is a bit like standing in an art gallery full of fake Van Goghs. The AC Cobra is one of the most popular of all the kit cars. It's not difficult to see why. The kits cost a fraction of the price of the original, and they're really first class. A genuine Cobra 427 might set you back £70,000, but here's one its owner made for less than half of that.
It's a 427 with a 5.7 litre engine and a Chevrolet gearbox, built in '89. Basically, it's in this condition now. It looks like brand new. The car is quite fast anyway, and you go down the motorway, it'll sit there, 70 miles an hour easily. It's got top speed of 165 miles an hour. A lot of people don't know it's not a real one. And I suppose that's what goes for the car. They don't know what the thing is half the time.
Getting hold of a kit is easy enough. This Tiger Sports costs around £2,000. Once you've bought the bits and pieces, you fit an old Ford Sierra 2-litre engine, gearbox and a shortened prop shaft. And then comes the hard bit. It takes 120 hours of work to assemble it. But then, for £3,000, you've got a Sportster with a passing resemblance to a Lotus 7. Now, if you really want to impress, how about a Lamborghini? Who cares if a genuine Countach costs over £100,000? Here's a kit version with a Rover V8 engine, which costs 30 grand to build. And here's another great sports car, the Citroën Somerset. The what?
It's based on a Citroën 2CV. I just love doing it. I love doing the cars, I drive them around and then I usually sell them because I want to build another one. Metalwork has always been my living. It's my hobby. I just love metal. An engine is £320 plus VAT for a brand new lead-free engine. The full kit for this model is £4,600. I'm right in front of him. You can drive it off-road or on a motorway.
On the motorway?
Yeah, and you don't get the impression of a fantastic amount of speed. It's a very special car for a very small amount of money.
In the kit car world, there are plenty of people who have special cars which cost them small amounts of money. All right, some are a bit slow and cramped, but hey, they make great toys. Coming up next, we lift the lid on the competitive world of kids go-karting. And magician Fay Presto reveals her passion for very heavy metal.
Long after the fans and players have gone home, the 4 billion TV watchers have switched off, and all the others have taken their billboards down, one company will still be there, pushing to make a ball that goes even faster, boots that make players even more powerful. Because to us, each World Cup is a signpost, not a destination.
Card door chocolate ice cream. Real chocolate pieces in real chocolate ice cream. Leaves only one thing on your mind. Think I'll skip straight to dessert.
Jimmy! Oh, get lost, you lot. Yeah, you forgotten? It's Brighton today. Oh, get move on! Come on then, or we miss out on all the action.
Jimmy! I've made you some sandwiches!
Sorry, boy.
The House of Fraser summer sale starts tomorrow.
Hi, come and check out the B&Q sale.
This powerful little Karcher pressure washer, now for under £90. Terrific.
You can even save on plaster cobbing. Big savings on bathroom suites.
This shelving's down to £239, and that includes a tap.
Scatter rugs, only $3.99. The kids will love this soccer fan.
See when this Black & Decker cordless fill.
And there's loads more. Come and see for yourself.
The B&Q sale is on now.
Get ready for some monster fun.
What do we do? Running would be a good idea.
Godzilla.
Jonathan?
Caprice.
You can't pronounce your R's. I love a man who can't pronounce his R's.
Really? Great. I already ordered one of those garlic and herb stuffed kvass. There's a delicious wing of soft cheese in the whim, along with the garlic and the herbs. Caprice. Waitress, is it too late to get these to go?
At Vauxhall, we believe durability is a right, not a privilege. The new Astra's fully zinc galvanized body is guaranteed for 12 years. The new Astra, it rusts like a fish.
great thing about being a magician is that you live your life in a world where nothing is quite what it seems.
As Britain's top close-up magician, Fay Presto is used to raising a few eyebrows. Fay and her rabbit Harvey have performed magic for stars such as Elton John and Michael Caine, as well as the Queen. But when turning up to these glitching events, the beautiful people may be more amazed by her favourite mode of transport.
It's a skip. It's a transport of delight. One small drawback is the small number of minor traffic incidents you cause.
This is a new scam. Get ready.
Fay shares this recycled skip with a friend in Wales, who created it at first as an advertisement for a real skip company. Since its birth, it's actually raised more money for charity, £3,000 so far.
That's just you.
Oh, get you.
It's a very original idea.
It's a bit of a giggle. Can't understand why ordinary traffic gives me such a wide berth. I was just going to score a very nasty yellow mark down the side of your car, actually. Hello, Daddy.
This is a new scam.
Got me tax. Pulling power, I'll say. I've had all sorts of chaps jump in the back and ask for a ride round the block. I think we take that the right way. It really is just about the most idiot thing I've ever driven.
Idiotic maybe, but you can park it anywhere because the clampers can't get to the wheels. The only danger is someone may chuck some rubbish in the back, but as befits a skip, everything on it's been salvaged. The seats come from an old London bus, and the running gear comes from an old Mini.
That was a bit of fun. These are my sensible cars.
Sensible maybe, but still very stylish. A Daimler and a Triumph Herald, no less.
Now, this is the grand old lady of the fleet. This is the Daimler. People say, why a Daimler, not a Jag? You do a job on the Jaguar, but one gets a little man in to fix the Daimler. After a particularly hard gig, if the audience has been particularly hostile, you get inside. You've got the leather, the woodwork. It's not so bad. I mean, I do use them. This one's done 140,000. This is now 130,000 miles old. And yet, not just a pretty face. I paid £600 for this when it was in the first flush of its youth. I'm on record for saying I'd sell the flat and live in the car if it really came to the crunch. It is just the best. This is a dressage hat. 200 years of development went into this hat, and it will stay on at nearly 100 miles an hour. So you have to get the hat right, otherwise you wreck your hair. Let's enjoy some top-down motoring, shall we?
At £2,500, Fay's Triumph may be worth 4 times what she paid for it, but the repair bills come to many more thousands than that. Her best advice to buyers is to check that the doors shut well. They're a good indicator of the rest of the car's frame. Fay's 10-year-old Daimler cost her £4,000 2 years ago. She loves classics, but admits that buying them can be a minefield. Her advice, choose your car by its interior, because the outside paint can be more easily changed. Well, they may be lovely, but have Fay's sensible cars done Land's End to John O'Groats like this gutsy little baby? No, they haven't. And that's what gives Skippy the Skip just that little touch of magic.
For the sheer exhilaration of man and machine pitching themselves against the forces of nature, nothing can compare to Formula One Grand Prix racing. It takes dedication, commitment, and a very strong nerve. And these days, you've got to start quite early. Oi, come back here! 8 years old may seem rather young to be racing around a track in £5,000 worth of car. However, like Coulthard and Herbert before them, these kids know that if you're not doing it before you reach double figures, it may be too late. Tell us a bit about driving this car. How quick does it go?
This engine will do about 75 miles per hour. It's got about 22 brake horsepower, so it's quite quick.
Lewis's career is the stuff of schoolboy dreams. He started racing at the age of 8, and by 10, he was the youngest driver ever to win the British Junior Kart Championship. Whose idea was it, Anthony, to go karting? Was it yours or was it Lewis's?
It's difficult to remember, really. I think it was probably, it was more my idea to get into karts. I knew Lewis was, you know, he's mechanically minded, liked the idea of racing remote-controlled cars and other bits and pieces, so that just seemed like the natural thing to do. We started with a second-hand car, and that probably cost me about £1,000 back in, I don't know, 1994, 95, something like that. And since then, it's cost me a lot more.
Once a hobby for the privileged few, rising interest in the sport now means that sponsorship can ease the route into the fast lane. Big players like McLaren International and Mercedes-Benz are now investing in the education and lifestyle of their rookie racers.
You gotta fight for your right to party.
On top of boy or girlfriend trouble and teenage tantrums, it can be a lot for a young kid to handle.
Second's a good result.
Yeah.
Just better if I was just up there challenging a bit more.
And what's your ambitions? Do you have serious ambitions?
Formula One.
Really?
Formula One.
You want to be a Formula One Grand Prix driver?
Formula One. That's what I want to do. First successful woman.
Excellent. And how old are you now, Pippa?
Just 14.
We brought him up to be quite a disciplined young lad, and he might have hated me for it on occasions, but you know, now I think we've got a fairly good working relationship, wouldn't you say?
Yeah.
A season's karting can cost anywhere from £1,000 to £60,000. So remember, dads, a kart is for life, not just for Christmas.
Next week, Pulling Power storms across the Rhine with a first drive of the stunning new Ford Cougar. And we take a nostalgic trip back in time to the days of the cafe racers. If you'd like more information on this week's programme, please send a stamped self-addressed envelope to Pulling Power, P.O. Box 96, Birmingham, B1 2JL, or see text, page 638.